The Hustleshare podcast is sponsored by Aspire. Trusted by 15,000 businesses across Asia, Aspire offers a unified suite of financial services, allowing businesses to make fast international payments to 130-plus countries, global payments at the best FX rates, and open multi-currency accounts in US dollars, euros, Great British Pound, Singaporean dollars, Indonesian rupiah, and more. All accessible on via a single user-friendly platform, Aspire. And also by Uno Digital Bank, a full-spectrum digital bank licensed and regulated by the BSP. Manage your money and maximize its potential growth with a secure and trusted bank that fits right in your pocket. Open a savings or time deposit account, pay bills, shop with the Uno Virtual Debit MasterCard, or apply for a loan in the Uno mobile app today. The Hustleshare podcast is sponsored by Lark, the leading super app for work in Southeast Asia. Frustrated with juggling and paying for multiple tools for work? Hate mixing personal and business messages? Improve your team's productivity by 10 times with Lark, which combines business chat, email, video conferencing, calendar, project management, real-time translation, and much more into one super app. Trusted by companies like Xiaomi, Glints, Kumu, and Mamalu's. Get it for free at larksuite.com today. This podcast is brought to you by Salmon, your trusted source for all your financial needs. Whether you're looking for easy financing with low down payments and fast approval, or seeking high returns with their 8.88% interest on time deposits, Salmon has you covered. Visit salmon.ph today and discover how they can help you achieve your financial goals. Rural Bank of Santa Rosa Laguna Incorporated is regulated by the BSP. For any concerns, email consumeraffairs@bsp.gov.ph. Deposits are insured by PDIC up to 500,000 pesos per depositor.
When the business failed and all that, we tried to go back the third time.
Okay.
In fact, we already have a one-way ticket to the moon.
Wow. One-way ticket. Tito, it's okay. I know that song.
Welcome to Hustleshare, the podcast that features the daily grinds of unique hustlers around the world to show not our differences, but that our hustles are very much alike. Now here's your host, Ronster Baetiong.
Welcome to the latest episode of the Hustleshare podcast. We have a husband and wife tandem today, and I've been trying to get these guys. I've been trying to bug Jenny. Borderline creepy already, like Jenny. I've been hearing a lot of good things about you on LinkedIn. Can you guys on Hustleshare? Like Jenny. And then again, I tried a couple of times, but I had to do one last shot. So shout out to Paul Santos, B. Paul Santos of Wavemaker, who made this intro. And finally, they said yes. Because I won't be bugging a startup if I don't think they're legit. And you guys have been all over the news, acquiring tax companies left and right, or financial companies left and right. And you guys have been funded by Wavemaker Partners. Knowing the standard of who and how Wavemaker funds startups, the fact that Wavemaker invested in you says a lot. So let's welcome to the show the co-founders of Beppo, Mr. Jenny and Marvin Galang. Whoop, whoop. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you.
Hi, Ron.
All right. And again, thank you for finally agreeing. I'm not the creep. I'm not going to sell you anything. I wanted to immortalize your greatness because, again, Beppo, it's such an amazing thing that I've been seeing. And again, and if I think, correct me if I'm wrong, it is a wordplay on BPO. Is that correct? Or no?
It's not. It's a best kept secret. Nah.
Oh, what? What does Beppo even mean?
We'll reveal in 10 years.
In 10
No, Beppo was a company that we founded in 2016, actually.
Oh.
And it's not for this market. It was for the US market. So that's That's fun fact number one.
Nice.
Uh,
So it's really not BPO. I thought this whole time, wow. What does it mean
no,
then? Now I'm curious. Everybody's listening is like, what the hell is Beppo then? If it's not BPO.
yeah. So it was a company, that we started in the U.S. Serving public schools for.
Oh.
It's specific for special education funding. But
Wow.
at that time, there were several criteria. We wanted a name that is of a person so that people can connect, people can relate.
Mm-hmm.
But second, we want to make sure that it has a .com.
Got it.
So when we were going over available domain, sites,
Mhm.
.com, .net. I mean, it's so hard to get a good name with a .com, right? Like
Right.
Ron.com.
Never. Mhm.
Never. Theory.com. It's gonna be tough.
Mhm.
So Beppo is that's a startup in 2016. That startup failed, then we shut it down.
Mhm.
2, we wanted a domain that has a .com. 3, we wanted the name of a person. That person is actually our son.
Wow, that is cool. Hello, shout out
So,
Beppo.com.
so,
Is that- Your
so
son's name is
Beppo,
Beppo.com? Sounds very technical, huh? Mm.
correct. His
Just
his
kidding,
real
Beppo.
name is Benedict Carlos, but
His nickname is Beppo.
his nickname is Beppo. Yeah.
That
So
is amazing.
fun fact number 4, his nickname is Beppo because it's short for Benedict the Pope.
Whoa, Pope Benedict, the
So
16th.
of course,
Is he
my
Ratzinger also? No? Okay, okay.
well, fun fact number 5, Jenny has a German heritage, so they're all the same.
Wow. Guten Tag. There you go. Guten Morgen pala. Guten Morgen. There.
And then he's Benedict because I was raised, educated in under Benedictine community, so full-blooded Bedan. So,
Bedan. Okay.
there you
Alabang?
go. That's
Beda Alabang? Beda
no, syempre
Antipolo.
from the Manila,
Mendiola. Okay. There you go.
Menjola.
All right.
Yeah.
Before we talk about your origin stories, and you already gave us such an amazing tidbit on what Beppo means, I need to ask you the $1 million question. Guys, what's your hustle?
We sell peace of mind.
I love it. Why is it peace of mind that you sell? Okay, help us understand.
See, the origin of Beppo really started with also the origins of Juantax. So we're talking about tax compliance now, really in the accounting space, bookkeeping space. But if you look at our history, how we started the whole thing.
Okay.
Starting in 2016, when we were still kind of growing Zero for the Philippine market. Zero is an accounting software.
Yeah, the one with an X, okay, not with the Z.
The one with an X, not with the Z.
Mhm.
Who also wanted the domain name with .com, but anyway, that's a different story. But so, so we were in this market, and they said, "Hey, can you help us distribute Zero in the Philippines?" And so, of course, we're not going to say no. Short end of that story did not work out. Unfortunately, now we're in this bind. We have to do Philippine tax compliance.
Yep.
We had a company. We set up an entity specific for that.
Mhm.
And here, I'm an accountant by profession. Graduated San Beda nga, but I never practiced accountancy in the Philippines.
Oh, okay.
Never. So we moved to the US after, worked there,
Okay.
and then eventually found our way back here. But again, going back to the story, here's our bookkeeper. Story before that. In my previous life, I was a tax auditor
In the US.
in the US. So, with my background in accounting, being a tax auditor, now here's a bookkeeper in the Philippines asking me to sign a tax return physically.
Okay.
So of course I was, my auditor's hat
Okay. The instinct kicked in.
Yeah, ask the question, what is the basis of this tax return? Is it cash or accrual? And she told me, sir, it depends. Like, so with all with all the stories about about businesses in the Philippines and compliance, I'm like, it depends on what.
Depends on which book now.
High tide or low tide ba to or something? So it's like, anyway. So man. I did not believe her. So I tried to verify. There's such a thing as trust but verify.
Tamang hinala. Okay, but tamang hinala.
Oh, so I contacted a good friend of mine who is a practicing tax consultant, and I phone a friend in a way. Pare, what is the basis of this value-added tax return? Cash or accrual? So sabi niya, pare, it depends. So, what? So can you imagine for an accountant like me, who did not practice here, probably knows not a lot about.
Confused as hell for sure.
I was confused as hell. I did not know, but apparently it's true. It's true. It actually depends on the type of transaction that you are into, whether it's goods or service. So
correct.
Both of them are correct. So, but I just couldn't understand and couldn't believe it. So
it depends. All right, that's super.
Can you imagine if I'm an accountant who would probably understand this if it was explained properly, and if I know better. But can you imagine the journey of business owners in that tax compliance phase? If I'm a business owner, I need to comply, and somebody will tell me, sir, depende kasi yan kung goods or service. Okay, and then so what do I need to do now? So all that complexities, all that lack of peace of mind, and that's really what we set out as a journey to solve. Is the vision very simple? I want to enter this transaction once. I don't want to see it again. If you give me an official receipt, I just want to process that once, and I hope it can take care of all the tax compliance that I need to take care of. Accurately paying the right taxes, and I don't want to worry about it.
That is amazing. And again, what a story. But again, before we even talk about how this was done and why it depends is a norm and why it depends can cause a lot of headaches and migraines for those people in business, I need you to buckle up real quick, because we're going to have to find the origin story of how you started out as hustlers and as entrepreneurs, because we're going to have to ride the Hustleshare time machine. All right. Again, what we're here is to understand the origin story. And every hustler has its rough origin story. And Jenny, you've been silent the whole time. And you've been the one I've been trying to bug the whole time. Before you became obviously the amazing CEO of Beppo already for this time, I want to understand two things. And I'll ask you this also later in a bit, Marvin. What was the first exposure you had to hustling? And I want to understand the core skills that you remember acquiring as a hustler as you were growing up in school, or your very first stints on doing things.
Initially, when I really loved doing photo books.
Photo books.
So photo books and also video editing.
What?
No?
Okay.
So freelancing was not a word way back then.
Yeah.
So that's my first few loves. And then when we were in the US, Marvin and I, we have 2 kids at that time. So I just took care of them, and that's my side hustle. I did wedding photos, videos for some of my friends.
Got it. So that's amazing. And again, massive respect for moms. Again, it's raised by a single mom, only child. So The onus is on me lang. I cannot F it up. Good thing naman, I didn't let her down. But I want to understand, when Marvin was talking about the things, I'll zero in on you. Of course, in the States, I want to understand muna, which state were you guys in? Because the state defines the type of income you're going to get. If you're in California, good luck with the taxes. If you are in Texas, you are a happy person because taxes do not exist. So where at and what was the setting? And while Marvin was hustling again, how did you acquire those side hustles that you're doing? Because it's common, right? There's no household help. You have to make ends meet. And the more streams of income it is for a family, the better. What was that like?
So we lived in California for,
Hala.
for and yes, paid a lot of taxes.
Yes.
Yes. But for the longest time, I was doing, my hobby. It was just really a hobby for me,
Okay.
because I'm a full-time.
Which city?
mom.
Bay Area or LA?
LA area.
Okay.
So we lived in Diamond Bar for quite some time before we moved back here. And then, I just helped Marvin, staple all those tax returns
Mm-hmm.
for his business. No, but yeah, for the longest time I was a stay-at-home mom of two way back then. Now we have 4 kids.
Oh, you multiplied. That's inflation for you. Okay, there you go. Are the 2 American citizens and the other 2 are Filipino? So it depends. So okay, super duper interesting. But after what you were stay at home mom, and this is I'll go cheesy here, Marvin. And at the end of the day, they always say it that a man's success is defined by the type of spouse or the type of wife he decides to marry. Because she can either elevate you to the highs that you don't imagine you'll ever be, or she can be the anvil that drags you down and never lets you think. So while Marvin was hustling, how were you supporting his dreams, making sure that you make ends meet? Because that dynamic of deciding to stay back and take care of the people you care the most, which is the kids and the family, it's a massive hustle in itself. And it's a big sacrifice to make a team work, right? Not every couple allows that to do. And now you're both in the same thing na. Hala, good luck. But how are you back in that state? What was that like?
It was easy for me, no? Kasi ever since I've met Marvin, I've known him as a very, very intelligent person, no? So
Yeah. There you go.
super. So I know what his potentials are. So I know when he is, parang when he's kind of bored with the work already, no? So he's been through many different companies, and since he is mostly a tech person, not really an accountant lang, no? So it's like parang super duper. That's my main goal, to make him happy. So when he needed me in work, no, starting out with our company in the US, I said, okay, once you need me, then that's free labor already, right?
Wow, that's amazing. I love the dynamic. But I'm just looking at your LinkedIn. Obviously, you studied in St. Paul Pasig, Polinian, Benildian. But okay, it says here that on 2010 to 2013, you became an accounting supervisor. Is this in the US? And how did this become a hustle in itself? Because that's 3 years of solid hustle. What was the tipping point for that?
So Marvin and his partner in the US came up with a BPO here in the Philippines for accountants. So when they folded it up, they needed some help with the work, with a couple of bookkeeping clients that they had. And since I have like a business background, so bookkeeping was very easy for me.
That's amazing. So when that ends, then you become accounting supervisor, and then all of a sudden now you also do double role, which still exists at 10 years and 11 months. Is that the BPO background that happened here?
It's still, we started the CPA firm way back 2013, and then it eventually pivoted into an outsourcing company for CPA firms, within 1 year of business. So that portion, the 80% of the business of the outsourcing bit, we sold it 2 years ago to a company here in Pampanga.
That's
So
amazing.
double rule still exists with several clients, but someone is in charge of that right now.
Okay, before we talk to Marvin real quick, I want to just zero in why this is such a great business, because I've heard of accounting firms or accounting companies or accountants from Australia outsourcing to the Philippines. I know a few making a killing, by the way. They're just chilling out here. Like, why is this person always overseas, having the time of their life? And then I was like, what? Because I've always, obviously, my main hustle is asking people what their hustle is. Like, what are you doing? Like, yeah, we have an accounting BPO. It's like, what am I doing wrong in my life? I should have been doing this. But I want to understand the problem of companies worldwide and why BPO is such a good avenue for them to get this done, especially coming from the Filipino setup from the US. Can you expound a little bit on that? Because I think that's going to be the main tenet of how these businesses, up to probably even Beppo, works.
It's really,
it depends.
it depends if they have available resources. But it's really tapping into the talent pool that's available in a market where we cannot find the talent in the source, in the original market. I think that's always been the essence of outsourcing. I've been involved in outsourcing, offshoring since graduation.
Yep.
Never intended, in fact, questioned a lot of that before. But as far as work, I was part of Procter and Gamble's Global Business Services, 1999.
Okay. I'm not aging you. You're the one who revealed your age. Okay, not me.
Okay. No plans of hiding my.
Okay, that's okay, Tito Marvin. We're good.
Youthful, But and ever since when we moved to the US, I worked for a Big Four CPA firm. I thought it was going to be an audit, but eventually I was put in outsourcing. So it has been there, for like more than 20 years as far as finance and accounting outsourcing. So it's always that, the ability to get the talent, the right talent, for a process, for a system where we cannot find the talent.
Is it really the lack of talent, or is it lack of talent, or labor arbitrage? Because I asked this because my Podcast Network Asia, my current startup, we found an opportunity to do something similar, but in podcast post-production. We have a platform called Pod Machine, where people literally, again, the problem we're solving is people don't have the time to edit and listen to their whole podcast. If they say they have a 1 hour recording, they don't have time to 4 hours to just do post-production. That's 4 hours of time that they get time back. And the main thing is that the talent exists in the US, but it costs an arm and a leg to do that in the US. So obviously the best option is to offshore through Pod Machine. Is it lack of talent lang, or is it both that and labor arbitrage?
I'm pretty sure it's labor arbitrage, cost savings, and all that stuff. When I look at things, sometimes when we start looking at things and just look at the cost, if we prioritize money over the real purpose, sometimes that's where a lot of the problems start. And I think that's the biggest pitfall of a lot of companies who try to outsource, and then eventually they'll say, hey, it's not worth it. Well, it's not worth it because you're always looking at the cost. Para makamura. But not really looking at, hey, what is the real value of getting a resource offshore? Diba?
Correct.
The cost savings, that is the effect. That is the reward. But if you look at the real purpose why you wanted to offshore, is really, I hope it's obtaining and getting into a good talent pool that can provide me maximum value. And on top of that, gravy, mas mura.
Of course. And pogi founders and pretty founders pa, they will never fight. In fighting, yes, you'll fight at home, but you're stuck with each other forever. The ring will always be there. So, okay, before we take our first break, Marvin, I want to understand, you breeze through this. I just want to establish the stack. So if Jenny was the stay-at-home mom and you guys decided to be in the US, I want to understand first the pre-US hustle. So you mentioned you were in PNG and whatnot, but what was that? What was the first inclination of hustling that you remember, even before school and whatnot? Because I want to understand what was that trigger that triggered you to move to the US.
It's a family. It was a family decision.
Okay.
My dad was applied for a professional visa, and when he was still single, number one, young professional, he was still single, and he applied for a professional visa. Fortunately for us, he got it after 17 years.
Wow.
So from being single to now married to having 1, 2, 3 kids, and then he got approved. So that's when, we were able to, but not uncommon and unknown to many. I always share this story to young professionals that I speak with. I've tried to live in the US 3 times.
Prior to this?
Well, prior to this. But, we always find ourselves...
going back.
We found ourselves back.
Why so?
It's different.
Expenses? In and out is too expensive. There you go. And Jollibee is better.
Siguro baka sabihin ng iba, grabe naman sentimental nitong tao.
No.
Pero but seriously, Jenny, at least for me, I always believe na there's a reason why you were born a Filipino. I could have been born an American, but why was I born in this in one of the 7,000 islands, with the color of brown? So my parents brought me to the US. I was 16 years old. I worked there. I told my parents after 1 year, I'm going to go back to the Philippines. So I finished my high school and college here alone.
In Beda pa?
San Beda.
All boys.
That's one. Number 2 is after working for PNG, I have to go back to the US because now you have a green card and you need to stay there. So I went to the US. Jenny and I lived there, and then we found ourselves back here because of outsourcing. But to be honest, it was a lot of puro excuse na lang yun. Oh, let's go back to the Philippines just to start a business. Kasi let's take advantage of outsourcing. But the reality is, like living here, nothing compares.
Yeah.
And so we moved back here. When the business failed and all that, we tried to go back the 3rd time.
Okay.
In 2013. In fact, we already have a one-way ticket to the moon.
Wow. One-way ticket. Tito, it's okay. I know that song.
Correct. So one-way ticket back for 5 of us, 3 kids at that time, and then Jenny and myself. It never happened. Never happened. So we forgo those 5 tickets.
Right.
And it never happened. But that was the time when all these ventures that we started eventually found its way into some sort of success. But yeah, it was here in the Philippines, not in the US.
Okay, I totally love that, and I totally agree, because I've seen the flip side of this. So I always go to the US because Pod Machine, when I acquire customers, I have to go to podcast conferences. So that happens twice or thrice a year. So I come in, hella jet lag, random city in the US, put up a booth to meet random podcasters. I'm usually the only Filipino around majority of the time, or 2 to 3 lang whenever I go. And whenever I bump to Filipinos who, and I think I put them in several buckets. The first generation migrant is still very much the Filipino that because they talk like this. They don't have the twang yet. Okay, so they get it. And then there are people that are really Filipino. They call it Filipino descent now, 2nd generation, 3rd generation, who is very much Americanized and whatnot. And it's weird. I've seen this happen several times where the first generation, once they migrate, it's rare, that they want to come back. Most of the time, it's brain drain. They go, I'm from here. They're from there. They refer to me as from there. It's like, the fuck you talking about? Right? You sound more Filipino than me. What are you talking about? Right? But this is what's sad, because there's so much talent that we nurture in this country. But because of the lack of opportunity, or the perception of lack of opportunity, because they just want opportunities, not wanting to be involved in problem solving, once they get out, they never want to look back. And I want to get your feedback on that. Is that, have you seen that as well?
Absolutely. In fact, one of my when we moved to the US, I lived. This was in 2000. I lived with an uncle of mine, actually a godfather, not a not a blood uncle. Yeah. So, and I've always talked to him about, hopefully once we save up, etc., then maybe we can go back to the Philippines. Grabe, you can, he's like, why? At that time, I think it was mid 60s. Why?
Wow.
Why do you want to go back? You already have a life here. You're going to be successful. Blah, blah. Well, why go back to the Philippines? Like, okay.
Sisig is better here.
Opo. you just have to
right.
You just have to listen.
But here's the weird observation naman that I've seen. And I've seen so many, we call them the C-Turtles, the type of startups, like the Roland Rosses of the world, the Rexy Dorados of the world, and then a lot. Second generation, full-blown Filipino, born in the States, but they're yearning to go back to something that they've never experienced. They have this naive love for the Philippines. And they're the ones who comes back and settles down here and actually solve problems. I say naive because a lot of us who are born here know the bullshit that we have to go through just to become there, just to get give an opportunity to get out of this mess that we're in, right? It's generational in nature. But those people who are born there have this love. I don't understand where that's coming. But so going back to stitching it up together, you're first gen. You tried it several times, but the love was all there all along. Why is that? Because here's the thing, from experience, I'm earning dollars right now. And right now, it's really nice. 58.25 Forex. Okay, I love it. That means I don't need to earn more because naturally Forex is in my favor, right? Very, very nice. But if you're able to really earn in dollars and spend in peso, that arbitrage is you're gonna feel it. Because you're earning in dollars, right? Or even if it's not like 20K, 100K annualized in the US, it makes a difference here. But again, stitching it back before we take our break, where's this love coming from, Marvin? Why do you want to do it here in the Philippines all along? And Jenny also, if you want to chime in, why did you keep coming back and why here?
When even in our short talks, when we talk to fellow Filipinos who are here, it's really finding the purpose of why they exist in a way. Ang lalim, no? But sometimes it's hard to find that in a country where they have almost everything. Diba? It's like they take a lot of things for granted already. But then when they come and visit the Philippines, and then they look at the people and they're so happy with small things, and they're so grateful with very little that they have, it's like, maybe we can give them more and help them, address a lot of these challenges that we're seeing. And I think that's generally it. Like, at least for me, there's always joy being here versus going there. Yes, so convenient, in other countries, especially in the US. One click, lahat shopping, etc. Although meron na rin yan, syempre. But all the conveniences, all the opportunities is there. But sometimes there's that different sense of accomplishment and feeling of joy and contentment when we were there. It's very different. But that we find, at least for me, I find it here in the Philippines.
I'll add to that now. So I was part of a government program way back 1999.
Mhm.
1997, sorry.
Okay.
And the love for country really is super duper. They really embed it to you,
Okay.
kasi the government sponsored you, so I represented the government in other countries as well.
Wow.
And siguro going back, many of my batchmates even went abroad na after finding a job. But as Marvin mentioned, we always go back here to the Philippines, maybe because when we were in our darkest moments, going very deep and personal, families here, if you don't have a place to live in, people will open up their places to you,
Yes.
no? So it's like, yeah, and kahit na binaha ka na, naundoy ka na and everything, it's like you always have a way to get back up. No, it's like
Bayanihan.
the Philippines. Yes, bayanihan pa rin talaga.
That is amazing. And again, super duper love why your conviction in doing it here, because that's rare. And that's also the first sign that you guys are really born to be entrepreneurs, because it's contrarian in nature. Entrepreneurs are contrarian. We never just follow the herd. Because if we just follow the herd, then we would have been just like everybody else, right? And being contrarian is already a good sign, and you guys double down on that. But let's take our first break, and when we come back, we will now talk about how you then built Beppo, or again Juantax, and how that became a startup and became a tech startup and tech venture as we do it. But let's talk about that more after the break. Hey hustlers, how are companies like Pizza Hut, Tech in Asia, and Love Bonito saving $28,000 a year? Well, Aspire is an all-in-one finance solution designed for modern businesses. Over 15,000 companies across Asia are using Aspire to streamline business financial processes, saving both time and money. Now, Aspire understands the demand of your business, and these are their offers. Lightning-fast international transfers enabling money movement across 130 plus countries, the best FX rates with no hidden fees ensuring transparency, and multi-currency accounts in US dollars, euros, Great British pounds, Singaporean dollar, Indonesian rupiah, and more, facilitating transactions in multiple currencies. And guess what? Opening an account can be done 100% online, making access to a global business account effortless. Aspire works with thousands of startups across Asia, offering an easy way to open a business account to receive investments from VCs. Aspire is backed by global top-tier VCs including Sequoia and Y Combinator, and has been recognized by CB Insights as one of the top 100 most promising fintechs globally. Join over 15,000 businesses across Asia that have already made the switch to Aspire and experience the future of business finance. For more details, visit aspireapp.com. That's ASPIREAPP.com. Again, that's aspireapp.com. And let's make business finance simple, integrated, and borderless together. Hey hustlers, money issues and financial stress are a reality we all face, and ignoring them won't make them disappear. That's why our sponsor Salmon is committed to making managing your finances easy and more accessible. With Salmon financing, you can shop to over 2,000 Salmon partner stores nationwide and bring home your dream purchases today with a low down payment starting at just 10%. Plus, it's super easy to apply. Just one valid ID is needed and you can get approved right then and there. No need to wait for payday. Just take what you need now and pay for it over time. And if you're someone that's looking for ways to grow your money, Salmon's time deposit accounts at the Rural Bank of Santa Rosa, Laguna, which is regulated by the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, offers a fantastic 8.88% interest rate for a 12-month term for deposits of more than 500,000 pesos. That's currently the highest rate in the Philippines. Deposits are also insured by the PDIC with up to 500,000 pesos per depositor, so you know your money is safe and secure. It's definitely a great way to make your money work harder for you effortlessly. Since launching in 2022, Salmon has raised over $60 million and is backed by industry giants like the IFC, ADQ, and Northstar Group, ensuring they're a reliable partner in your financial journey. So whether you need financing, credit, or high-return savings option, Salmon has you covered. So visit salmon.ph today to see how they can help you achieve your financial goals with ease. Again, that's salmon.ph. Finance made easy with Salmon. And we're back from a break. We are still with Jenny and Marvin Galang, who then told us the amazing nationalistic drive of why they want to stay here in the Philippines and really double down on the power of BPO. But a couple of things. So when you finally decided that, all right, let's stay here for good, but the clientele will come from the US. Marvin, I want to understand one thing, because at the end of the day, it's a game of networking and lead generation. You can build all the teams here in the world or here in the Philippines, but if there's not enough leads or there's not enough people outsourcing here, the talent is useless, even if you can train them up to become world class. First things first, how were you able to generate all these clients who are willing to outsource here?
Okay, so it was very different when we started as far as outsourcing. I think when Jenny mentioned 2013, well, the first business we started 2007, it failed big time. We shut it down in 2010. I came back in the scene 2013. We established this bookkeeping company in the US that in 6 months became an outsourcing company.
Oh.
So, and your question had a lot to do with, what were we doing and how did it become this? So it's we partnered with the accounting software Xero. But this is in the US. So if you look at the landscape at that time, Xero was heavy in New Zealand, Australia, UK. They were really growing. But the US market, they started there in 2010. It was crawling in terms of growth. Considering it's the biggest market of all, diba?
Compared to the QuickBooks of the world.
Well, the QuickBooks is number one, has always been number one in the US. So yeah, maybe because they were now competing with the largest and the biggest accounting software in the United States. But the crazy Marvin and Jenny established
nationalistic naman. That's not crazy. Okay.
These two Filipinos, tingnan mo, all odds against. Filipino ka na and you're playing in a US market,
right?
Which nasa Philippines ka pa, wala ka dun.
Okay.
And then we decided to partner with an accounting software that is not popular in the US, which is Xero. Where every odds is saying you're gonna fail. So okay. We had 10 clients started, and we're not shy to admit at that time we were billing around $2,500
per client or in gross?
No, every month gross.
The whole 10 clients, 2,500?
No, 10
How
clients.
the hell did you guys make that then, Sweet?
Okay, so and partnering with Xero, I was talking to our account manager. Her name is Dorothy. Sabi ni Dorothy, Marvin, what's your plans to grow in the US? I don't have a plan. Because I'm in the Philippines and but definitely we want to grow. Sabi niya, I have a plan for you. I'll present it to you tomorrow. And so, okay, that's good. We had another meeting the following day. She presented to me a plan. The plan was to sell me 100 licenses of Xero for $30 each license. But she's going to give me 25% discount. And so I told her, Dorothy, I don't think this is a BP, a business plan. I think this is a BP. What's that? Bankruptcy plan.
Oh my God.
Imagine making 2,500.
I thought it was high blood. Okay. I would have.
And I'll get a BP.
Okay.
High BP.
But, here you go. This is what you need. This is what I use for BP every day. Okay.
But anyway, so she goes, no, look at it this way. You're going to spend money in marketing. You're going to spend money to make money.
Okay.
And this is how I can help you. This is how we can help you. We're going to give you marketing dollars for that.
Wow.
Where can I use the marketing dollars? I can help you build a website.
Okay.
Second, you need, SEO, search engine optimization. The best way to do that is where our customers find professionals, which is in advisory.
Mm-hmm.
We will put you at the top. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
And then, of course, second, and the last one is I'm going to give you a 3 months lead time, which you don't need to pay us only after 3 months. So Jenny and I really sat and spoke about that, and we're like, well, we're already in here. We love the application. This is the market we want to grow in, and then boom, with a bad intention at the back of our minds, asking ourselves, the zero outsourced. Outsource kaya itong mga to. Kasi baka pwede natin maging client, if we master the application and if, we can prove ourselves, right?
And they also need that because now they are able to scale by also making sure that their COGS or costs
Correct.
is low.
It's low. Correct. So, but they never outsource.
Sorry.
That's what we found out. So anyway, bottom line, we accepted it. But see, that forced us, at least, for me, I told Jenny, now I need to sell. I have to sell. So my bright idea was, look, if we're able to cover the cost of these licenses, which is 2,250, my bottom line is 2,250 USD. My bottom line is like, I just want to get rid of this cost by transferring this cost to somebody else, to clients. But look, finding 90 clients, because we have 10, I bought 100 licenses.
Okay.
So finding 90 clients is hard. So all I need to do is to find one client that can give me 90 people. And who are 90 clients that can cover 90. And who else would that be but accounting firms?
Very smart. Okay.
So I went and knocked at all the accounting firm owners that I know in the Philippines. Kasi saan din ako magtitinda sa Philippines? Kasi nandito kami.
It
I knocked at all of them. and started, this was in 2013, started talking to all the accounting firms that I know. Hey, Zero presented it. And everybody that I spoke to loved the application. Nobody bought.
That's the thing. So I totally agree. Wait, I'm just, it's painful because we have a world-class thing. That's what it is. So first thing, so when we created Podcast Network Asia, we do everything end to end.
Yeah.
Podcast editing, podcast production, snippets, cover art, whatever. The whole 9 yards. And we made it Pinoy pricing pa. 5,000 pesos. The whole 9 yards. Bro, I did not get shit. Okay? So it's so frustrating because like I know we are world class and we are the best in the world in doing this.
Yeah.
But sometimes in the reality is if you're not putting the right product or the right service in the right market, it's like being a superstar in a desert.
Yep.
You nobody will appreciate you. You have to knock onto the right thing. So I totally agree. How did you then make the pivot after? And you know what's annoying pa with Filipinos?
Yeah.
Fucking annoying. You waste your fucking time. Sorry, I keep cussing because this is how it is. The Filipino way of telling you no and making you paasa is, pare, I'll get back to you. There you go.
That's true.
What the hell? Just fucking sell me.
That is very true. So I mean, for us servicing clients in the US was very simple. Here's a proposal, yes or no. Bilis. But you're right, dito it's like
or send me a proposal.
We love that. And then send me a proposal, send me a brochure. I'm like, dude, brochure, we're already in
this is a yes or no question, bro. That's it.
We're already in the internet age, and you said you loved it, and you can see you can do a lot of things. But anyway, bottom line is after 1 month. So remember, I have that 3-month lead time. After 1 month, I told Jenny, I don't think this is gonna work. So I have to go to the US. If that's our market, I think we have to be there. So I went to the US, but I applied the same strategy. So I looked at all the CPA firms that I know personally. And I knocked at their doors. Ganun lang. Hey, can we meet? Why? I want to show you something. Okay, so I showed them Zero. This is how it works. This is how blah, blah, blah. And maybe they saw the passion in me. They're like, dude, this is amazing. The second CPA firm I spoke to said, I'm in. I'm going to buy. How many clients do you have? Well, I have X number of clients, but I'm going to start with 50.
What? Oh my God. All right.
But see, now, earlier I said what started as an accounting firm became an outsourcing company in 6 months. Because this is the deal. We love it, but Marvin, guess what? All my clients are in QuickBooks. How am I going to put them in Zero? No, none of my people know how to use Zero. So I told the firm, simple lang yan.
In Tagalog?
Hindi. Oo, in Tagalog. Para hindi niya maintindihan.
I was like, what the hell are you talking about, Marvin?
No. That's not a problem. I have a solution for you. What is it? I can convert all of it. All your clients, I'll move to Zero. But it will be done in the Philippines. And you will pay us in the Philippines. So it worked out. Marvin, how about support? If we need support, guess what? Zero doesn't provide support, only email. This is the American market. Americans can't wait. I need the support right now. They're going to pick up the phone. Pare, I sold the support. We'll provide you the support. We'll provide you the support. It's going to be in the Philippines. So what started as a conversion work became a support outsourcing to the point that the 100 licenses we sold in less than a year. I was already buying another 150 licenses, to cover the market. And we got exposed and noticed by Zero. I got a call from their president, U.S. president at
the U.S. president
of Zero.
And he goes, pare, what are you selling? Just kidding.
What's happening? No, it was insane because I got, not just from him, but I got a call from our account manager, Dorothy. Marvin, yeah. I was talking to the CPA firm. I was trying to introduce Zero, and they told me they already have Zero. It is not in our records. And then I found out that you sold them Zero. And I'm like, yeah, don't touch that accounting firm. That's my client. But their own account manager cannot touch the clients that we were already touching. Because
she's already sweating because oh my God, I'm losing my job. Marvin's getting all my clients.
She was very happy. Obviously, it's going to count. But bottom line is, I got a call from the president of Zero in the US. We talked for 30 minutes. His first question was, how many employees do you have in the US? No pun intended. Zero.
with a Z. With a Z.
Wait a minute. So where are you right now? I'm in Manila. I'm in Makati. I'm in the Philippines. At 2:30, what time is it there? 2:30 in the morning. What? So we work graveyard one time na yan. Yeah, we work graveyard. We service US clients, so we have to be awake when they're awake.
Vampires, baby. That's what it is.
Vampires. And so how do you guys manage to sell all these licenses and all? What's your hit rate? And I told them, look, if I'm able to talk to somebody on the phone, 75% of the time, they're going to buy.
Super hustler. What an amazing thing. Okay, so wait, I want to do a deep dive on that.
Now, before you do that, the bottom line, Zero became our client.
Eventually they did.
Well, that same conversation led to that outsourcing opportunity. Remember, Zero never outsourced. We were the first outsourcing company that they dealt with. We handled all of Zero's sales for all markets, web sales. Wow. We handled Zero's phone sales in Asia eventually. And up to today, we are the only company that does their conversion work for North America.
What the hell? That's amazing.
So 2015, what are we now? 2024, 9 years. It's
That's
been 9 years.
amazing. And they've been the legacy client. They're the biggest elephant in the room in what you have. But I want to zero in because this is the core of hustling. And this podcast is all about hustling and sharing how you hustle. So, okay, pun intended also. Okay, I want to now understand one thing. When you said you have a 75 hit rate, percent hit rate, I want to teach. What's that conversation like in getting that? Because it's rare you have a 75% hit rate, but again, it's the same product. You just put it in the right market. In the Philippines, it's probably the same pitch, but what you get is mighty bokya. Okay, so zero as well. Bokya. Yeah. There you go. You could have called it then. You could have called the company bokya na lang. It's zero also in Tagalog. There you go. But I want to understand now what did you change? How did you go from wala to literally 75% hit rate on that pitch when you pitch them?
Yeah. 2013, I guess the biggest difference between Philippines and US market is the readiness. So you'd always have a bright idea, but you may be 5-10 years 10 years ahead. Do you know the outsourcing company we established in 2007? It was in finance and accounting BPO.
Too early for its time.
In 2010, it failed.
Timing.
This is timing. So at that time, the timing was so bad. But I never changed anything. The 75% hit rate, see, it's the same thing. It's a conversation. It's a conversation. We have salespeople. I talk to our salespeople. Pare, if 30-minute call with the client, very simple. 30-minute call, prospect with a prospect. If you can spend 25 minutes in that call, okay, if you can spend 25 minutes in that call where it is the client, it is the prospect that talks, not you. It's the prospect that talks, not you. Okay. I can guarantee you 75% of the time that person is going to sign up. Okay.
Absolutely.
And that 5 minutes, do not talk about the company.
No, totally. All you need to do is probe. Talk about, let the customers, and this is the same thing I also always do. And in a way, I became so much better at doing this because of the podcast. Your job as a seller, when you sell, is to not hammer them down with this is feature X, feature Y, blah, 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 blah. Nobody wants to be sold to. What you're looking for is for a customer to come clean with their problem and lead them to that you are the solution. So the best way to do it, the first 5 to 10, whatever minutes it's going to take, let them talk about themselves and the problems that they're going to. Your job in the first 5 to 10 minutes is ask the right questions. What is your current system like? What are your problems? Just let them talk about it and then piece together how you can solve it. And then down the road, of course, like, hey, this is the solution we have.
Yeah. In fact, the best sellers for me is in that first call. If you can tell me if, every personal thing about that person, you're the best salesman. Meaning, alam mo na naghiwalay pala to sa asawa niya. Can you imagine how good you are? First 30 minutes, pare, the person opened up to you.
Yep.
Trusted you.
Yep.
Okay, trusted you. You built that connection, you built that trust. Done deal. It's closed. Yep. You don't have to don't worry about anything.
Because it's all about building that rapport and getting them to that trust and being likable. You don't overshare the people you don't like. Absolutely.
Well, you buy from people you trust.
Exactly. Is that the same methodology ba that you close Jenny when you let her talk as well?
Yeah. I just listened. She's
Okay.
a talker.
Mukha lang tahimik dito pero ano.
Oh yeah,
sa totoo lang.
madaldal in real time. So I wanted to understand. So this is such an amazing dynamic. But Jenny, you eventually took this on with hand in hand with Marvin, right? As this comes, she cannot pull this alone, and he's the one selling. Someone has to take care of the troops and make sure that everything's. How did that dynamic work with you, and how did you then get into the system seamlessly? Because that's it, and this will eventually lead to how do you guys make it work? The $1 trillion question is how does Jenny and Marvin Galang make that dynamic work? Because I've seen couples do this. So I'll mention a few. Me and my wife currently working we have a pressure washing business called Papa Pressure. We're both alphas together in our own business. We're both entrepreneurs. Wasn't the smoothest thing. My God, we almost ripped each other's head off because I'm used to like hustling. She's also used to us hustling, butted heads. I even came to ask several, like, guys, those people that I know that are in similar situations, like for example, George Rieka and Angeline Tam of Angkas. Like, guys, how the hell do you guys make this work? Because there's no buffer. There's a gray area. If she's pissed at me at work, she's gonna be pissed at me at the freaking dinner table, right? It's hard. There's no escape. So how do you do it? And then George says, you cannot solve it on your own. You have to have a third party, not the third party that you see in telenovelas, to make things, put things into perspective, like a buffer, a referee, to make things. And then at the end of the day, it's not a communication problem. It's not a intention problem. It's a communication problem, because prior to this now, we're used to having our own little pockets of this is our kingdom. We still have that, but the frequency of now how we see things in this different angles, but probably in the different same direction, is different. So the dynamic of how often we then hustle with much gusto is different. And when we started doing that and started implementing what we learned, it mellowed down. But there needs to be, we needed time to openly say that, all right, on these things, you take lead. You're Batman, I'm Robin. On sales, I'm Batman, you're Robin. How did you guys make that dynamic work with Juantax and Beppo? Jenny, it's you. Okay, you need to make daldal this time.
So,
okay.
So prior to us being together in this business, no, before I got pregnant with our firstborn, no. So I was fully employed person in the US and also in the Philippines. So sanay ako talaga that I have an employer. So I do what my boss tells me to do. No, so I was not my own. I was not really a businesswoman. No, although I really dreamt of that. No, so when we started out with double role together, I know that Marvin was the head of. Parang he's the knowledge guy and he's the business guy. You know, so but I found myself helping with the operations, and I like it. No, kasi in my background before, I was the EA of Anthony Pangilinan way back then.
No
so
way!
It's like, so I was like, okay, I think
when Donnie was just a baby, is that what you're saying? Okay,
3 years old, yeah, when 4 years old, yeah. So yeah, so I'm really used to that, and you know, as long as it helps my husband or it helps the business grow, then I'm good with it. So for the longest time, I've helped him, and I found out that hindi pala niya alam lahat. No, so I thought kasi like boss. So and then at one point I tried to parang hindi kasi ako masyadong assertive way back then. But then nung nakita ko na I found my strength, and it's like I think medyo tama naman ako. I always keep doubting myself because I was a stay-at-home mom for the longest time, right? So and then patay na. So I started asserting myself na. Then eventually, and Marvin was still our president, or is still our president in Juantax, no. But when we founded Beppo, Marvin was the one who told me, you know what, kaya mo yan eh, but parang feeling mong hindi mo kaya.
There you go.
So yeah.
Okay,
And
now
there were also times that we had to, to argue.
clash. Uh-huh.
Clash. Sometimes
Mm.
even during meetings, and some of our employees sometimes they get,
It's uncomfortable.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes, yeah, but we're like we're just like this because we're in the office setting. But
Yeah.
after, when we're at home, sweetie na ulit.
Lovey-dovey's. There you go. Okay. Or again, Marvin, there's always the couch. Okay? We always befriend the couch. If push comes to shove, just do this in the couch and sleep with the blanket on. Just kidding. But again, I love that dynamic, and I can just see that the give and take comes naturally as well. But what's the secret to make sure that dynamic works? Because it's inevitable. You're always going to argue. But if you're going towards the same direction, that's fine. And then that's same with co-founders anyway. Good co-founders will always come from a different vantage point. But as long as you're going after the same goal and you're not going to rip each other's head off, you're going to be just fine. But how did you improve that dynamic, and how do you even nurture it to keep going on? Because at the end of the day, it's a husband and wife tandem, and people knows that, right? But there's got to be system to just the love and the trust that you've built there.
It's well, I guess another fun. I don't know if it's fun, but it's a fact that Jenny and I belong to a married couples community where we're also speakers in that community.
Which community is this?
It's a marriage encounter community, St. Paul Marriage Encounter community. But we don't always practice what the community preach.
Okay.
But I guess we have a. I mean, not just in our marriage, but not just in our marriage, in our relationship, but also with how we communicate with our people. We learned a lot, from that community.
From other married people also.
From other married people, from what what Marriage Encounter teaches us. I was gonna say,
I will join.
Look, what is the secret? It's Ephesians chapter 5. Sabay ganun, which is really well, wives, submit to your husband. Which is the phrase that a lot of married couples, would use, especially the guys, di ba? Pag nagkaka-argument. But the reality,
Ephesians.
you should submit to your husband. Wives, submit to your husband. But, like we have a solid understanding of what that really means, because what does a guy expect from the wife and what does the wife expect from the husband? So it's really respect and love. So Jenny makes sure that hey, you're accorded the respect that you need, and then for the husband naman, that make sure you love your wife, because that is the result. She's gonna respect you. It's something that we also see in business, because and there's a big difference between Jenny and myself, and we have a solid understanding of what that difference is. I'm really, really, high level thinker. Jenny is detailed. So I always want conclusion agad. Si Jenny, hindi. She's gonna talk about may mga pasakalye pa yan. Just tell me what happened.
TLDR.
Patay ba yan? Buhay? Buhay pa. Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Tell the story. But, and that translates to the business as well. When we make decisions, so you just ask the right questions. Okay. And then, boom. Do it. Because, I hate long meetings. She doesn't hate long meetings. So So ganun eh. So I understand where she's comfortable. She understands where I'm comfortable, and then so it works out. But we have that, and I guess without our background from that community, probably it's gonna be tougher, and we've seen that
Absolutely.
with other couples.
Wow, that's amazing.
Dagdag ko lang yung dagdag ko lang yung efficiency mo kasi sa wives submit to your husbands. But before that, uulitin ko lang yung sinabi ni Marvin. A husband should love your wife. No, as Christ loved
Yes.
his church. So the
There
wives
you
submit to
go.
your husband. So it's all. Yun yung parang kasi
It's
sinasabi ni Marvin
reciprocal. There you go.
Correct. So which I receive from him, he receives from me. So that's how our synergy works.
That is okay. This becomes an akilig episode na before we go on a tangent and it becomes a love podcast. Let's take our last break. And we'll now talk about how became Juantax, became Beppo, and of course, how you guys were able to fundraise and also acquire more tax companies in doing that. And what's up next for Beppo as we move along. But let's talk about that more after the break.
Hey hustlers, wish there was an easy way to open a bank account and grow your money without the hassle of lengthy application process and income documents? Well, I got good news because today's sponsor, Uno Digital Bank, is here to help you achieve your financial goals. You can easily open an account with the Uno app in just 5 minutes and one valid ID. And as one of the 6 digital banks licensed by the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, the company is committed to providing customers with simpler, better, and more accessible banking. Last year, Uno Bank was recognized by the Asia Banking and Finance Awards and bagged the title Open Banking Initiative of the Year due to the success of its partnership with GCash, one of the Philippines' leading mobile wallet platforms. And with the Uno mobile app, you can access an hashtag Uno Ready savings account and enjoy daily interest crediting. With their hashtag Uno Earn or hashtag Uno Boost time deposit accounts, you can enjoy a high interest rate of up to 6.5% per annum. Enjoy monthly payouts with hashtag Uno Earn and flexible tenors with hashtag Uno Boost. Other app features include pay bills, the Uno Virtual Debit MasterCard, life insurance, scan and pay with QRPH, and loans. And the one thing that I really love about Uno Digital Bank is they're open to collaborate with a lot of Filipino startups. I've had a chance to see the partnerships that they've had lined up with the startups that they have, and it's truly exciting to see how a digital bank like Uno can enable startups to unlock the power of fintech through digital banking. So if you're ready to elevate your banking experience, download the Uno mobile app today from the Google Play Store or App Store. Or if you want to collaborate with them, I'll be happy to give you an intro. Just shoot us an email at hello@hustleshare.com. Hey hustlers, how many apps are you using at work these days? 5, 10, 20? Let's face it, there are chat apps for internal communication and emails for external, Cloud Drive for docs and wikis, calendars and video conferencing, spreadsheets and project management software, and probably yet another tool to connect them all. It is a mess. And if you're collaborating with cross-border colleagues, partners, or suppliers, it gets even more complicated. And don't you find it disruptive when your personal and business messages get mixed up? And if this sounds painfully familiar, switch to Lark, the leading super app for work designed to increase your team's productivity by 10x at an unbelievable fraction of the cost. With Lark, manage projects, chat with your team, build a knowledge base with wikis, and automate workflows such as approvals without code effortlessly from one app. No switching or integration needed. Join fast-growing companies in over 125 countries, including Xiaomi, Glint, and the Philippines' very own Kumu and Mamalu's, who trust Lark as their workplace super app. I've started using Lark myself for our pressure washing business service, Pop-Up Pressure, and I'm totally loving it. Want to see how Lark can revolutionize your business? Click the link in the description or download Lark for free at larksuite.com. That's larksuite.com, the productivity super app every business needs.
And we're back on the break. We are still with Marvin and Jenny Galang, who that's made me kilig so much. And I love it because I just love it when husband and wife tandem make it work. Because it's not easy, right? And it's always a process. There's going to be challenges every time on how that works. But when you see people do well in life and do well in business as partners, it's special. And I want to now understand how that came from. Of course, Marvin told us how the zero account ballooned from 2,500 MRR. How big did it get, and how did that then turn into Beppo? And how did Juantax and Beppo kind of operated separately and then eventually then merged together? How did that work?
Yeah. So, well, that business, I think Jenny shared earlier. It's under the Double Rule company.
Okay.
It grew to over 100 employees, which we eventually sold in 2021. Actually, the outsourcing piece of it, but we still kept the books of accounts, the bookkeeping part. So that's still being done. For that, but that's solely for the US market. But because of that opportunity with Zero, that led to to Juantax in the Philippines. Kanina. Juantax we launched in 2017. Immediately we needed to work with the Philippine government, with the BIR, and so we solved that as well. We became accredited in 2019 as a tax software company, as well as other tax software companies in the Philippines eventually after that. Again, if you look at that journey, we said, wow, we want to simplify tax compliance, give, tax, small business owners, even tax practitioners, peace of mind because of this complexity, so that they can enter a transaction and they don't have to worry about anything else. Just push of a button. Hey, here's your VAT return. Here's your income tax return. Push of a button. Another push of a button files a BIR. Push of a button, pay your tax. That's Juantax. For the last couple of years, and now you look at the pandemic era, that pandemic time frame. You look at how a lot of things has changed, and globally. We're not talking about the Philippines alone. We're talking about globally. A lot of things has changed, especially with people's mindset in terms of work.
Mm-hmm.
In the US, the Great Resignation. I'm sure it happened here in the Philippines too.
Yep.
And which industries have really, made it, and some actually made it really, really big.
Yep.
The accounting outsourcing industry that we started in 2007, that failed in 2010.
Mm-hmm.
In 2019, these are facts. There's a big outsourcing company here. At the end of 2019, they have less than 1,000 employees.
Okay.
Fast forward, 2023. They finished 2023 with over 5,000 employees.
Just doing accounting.
Outsourcing.
That's a lot of debit credit.
A lot of debit credit. So that's the summary. Okay. Let's not go to too much details, but that
5X.
That describes what's happening to this industry. And ask questions why. We always believe. I firmly believe that when the time is complex, when it's very challenging, it's really the value of asking the right question. That's more important than, hey, we don't have an answer, but you need to ask the right question. Why? What's happening? What's the effect, etc. So the effect is what our clients in Juantax are telling us. Sir, can you supply us with people? What? I already sold you the software. Why are you asking people from me? Sir, because nobody's going to use the software. Release all accounting software you want, but if there's no users,
Wale.
And that is that is the natural thing that's happening. That is what describes our industry globally. So we're reaping the benefits of what's happening elsewhere. Why? Go to the US market. They're losing accountants. Nobody wants to take up accountancy. All accounting firms are scrambling for talent. That's why I said earlier, now they go to another country, they source for talent. Where do they go? India or Philippines or elsewhere. But we're a top supplier of accountants globally.
Wow, I did not know this. Okay.
Okay. So where are our accountants now? Yes, it's brain drain, but they don't have to leave the country. They're still draining the brain. But they're here.
Bangga, bangga. They're still making bangga everything, but at least they get to stay home.
They get to stay home, but they're here. Okay.
And they make good money also.
Yeah, I'm gonna shut my mouth there on that making good money because they're really doing well. Which to a point that the local industry, the local market cannot compete anymore with these talents.
Correct.
Because of the amount of money other countries are able and willing to pay.
To spend. Similar to devs. So the devs are best devs here, right? Of course, everybody wants, there's rare devs that want to be founders. But if you're talking about like the Accentures of the world and all these it's like, it's 3x, 4x, 5x what you're going to make if you're a fresh grad. If you're one of them kids that are really doing well, why will you not take it? Right?
Yep. Correct. But it's true. It's very similar to the devs. Although right now, because a lot of companies are laying off, even in the US, as far as dev talents. In fact, we have there's an oversupply of devs globally. It's different from accounting.
Of course. Because for accounting, every business, every person will need this. There's no takas.
Correct. Correct. So that's what we're experiencing, and that's what Beppo's trying to, again, address peace of mind. We want to sell peace of mind because now our users are asking us, sir, number one, if Juantax was not there, we may be out of business anymore. But even if Juantax is there, we're going to be out of business. Because we do not have people working for these accounts, processing data, processing transactions, because we cannot find them anymore. Or if we find them, we can't afford them anymore. Now, how do we see this? Is this a temporary thing? It's not. Again, go back to the source. Foreign accounting firms that get supply from us. What's happening in that space? Research it. It is only now that accounting firms are raising money as well. And can you be it's probably one of the oldest profession too, but it's, when accountants are in business, they're already profitable in probably month 3 or year 1. Diba? Kasi puhunan yan? Laway.
Right.
Pawis. It's not but software companies, hey, they're going to be in the red for so many years developing, blah, 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 till they make money. Accountants, no. But why are they raising money?
Why?
Why the need to raise money? Battle for resource,
of course,
to pay more, to put up offshore operation. Second, technology. Look at those countries like the US, UK, Singapore, even. Look at them. How this shortage is accelerating the AI in accounting. The push for software to a technology to address the shortage of manpower.
Right.
That's really what's happening now.
Got it. So is it safe to say that Beppo in its current state is technically a good chunk of it was the 2007 business that was too early for its time?
No, not Beppo, because we don't provide offshore resource. It's really just a tech that runs the accounting for Philippine businesses, the bookkeeping and tax compliance for Philippine business.
So Beppo is basically it's now the right timing na because the Philippines is finally ready for a company that's like this. For those people who said, send send a proposal, or it depends years ago.
That's what we're experiencing now. At least the market is responding.
What
and when we
changed
talk
though?
I guess COVID. It really, I can't think of anything in terms of mindset. Look, during COVID time, okay, people were what was the most popular phrase? Digital transformation.
I've had so many of those in 2020 and 2021 in this podcast.
Exactly. In fact, when you ask people before, when was GCash founded? Sige nga.
Oh,
sir, 2019.
Nope.
Seryoso ka? Nope. Early 2000s. I graduated in, when I graduated. Tinago bigla. When I graduated a couple years after, GCash was already around.
Yes.
And it's a text
PG
message.
Limcalco, I think, was the brainchild of I'm not sure. I might be wrong. So there. Yeah. But it's a text-based thing.
Text-based thing. 20 years old for sure. More than 20 years old. And then COVID hit. And everyone was talking about digital transformation. Guess what? Even at that time, it was so hard to transform, especially in an industry where we're very conservative, diba? But like right now, this is the effect. Not the sickness that COVID brought, but really the change in people's mindset in terms of, look at go back to how many students in terms of enrollment in accountancy, the drop in enrollment alone, over 50%.
Really? Here in the Philippines now?
Global. Philippines, more, 57%.
Because I'm from UST. I'm UST. And in accountancy in UST is a quota course.
Accountancy in UST is the top producer of accountants. But in general, in our survey, 57% drop in enrollment.
Really?
In accountancy.
Wow. They even spun it out. So I'll just go on tangent a little bit. Accountancy was part of the College of Commerce before.
Yeah.
They became so big that they spun out. They got exiled into a car park on top of Fredo M. Belayo building. They spun it out as their own college of accountancy lang.
Yeah. So, find out. Just do a simple survey with your teachers in UST and find out, hey, from let's say from 2020, before the start of the pandemic, up to the enrollment for 2023 last year, or 2020, 2024 it's incoming. So, hindi pa. 2023, just find out what the decline looks like. 35% decline in people taking the exam, the CPA exam.
Wow.
CPA exam. Okay.
Why? What's triggering this?
It's not sexy.
It's boring.
I joke around with Jenny. Look, digital transformation also transformed people's mind. I tell Jenny, look, I think we all have ADHD. Attention
they're all
deficit
TikTokers
disorder.
now.
The attention, which is, we just describe it at that. But look, it's the attention span is not there.
Yeah.
We solve problems in accounting. One problem, 30 minutes, 1 hour. Can you ask somebody, a kid, right now? Sit down and solve this problem. Sit down for 30 minutes.
You're gonna throw the
45.
papers like that. No, I'm done.
They'll grab their phone and then try to look for an answer. Diba?
Yeah.
That's what you're gonna tell the kids. This is your work. You go and sit there and solve that problem, and you're gonna do that every single day, repetitively. Sige nga, can you convince a kid to take accountancy?
True. It's a sexy, dirty job. An unsexy, dirty job.
Sexy, dirty job.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's contributing to that, and then all the other factors. But this is where we're at this point. If the global market believes that this is going to be this is just temporary. After 2 years, everything will go back to normal. I don't think these CPA firms are going to raise money and move the needle in tech.
Nope.
If they believe it's going to go back to normal. This is our normal. It might even get worse. For us, it will get worse. Why? Who's the recipient of that money? The money that they raised. The offshore operation. It's the Philippines. They're going to hire more accountants. They're going to hire more bookkeepers in this country. What's going to happen to our local businesses? I don't know.
Good luck.
Right. Good luck.
So
that's where we're at.
So now, how did you turn that into Beppo, and how did you scale that up? If this is the solution to that problem,
nothing with Juantax. We had technologies before in terms of the automation that we're using internally, and so we're like, hey, we need to share this. If I cannot supply our accountants with people, with bodies, maybe we can make the tech available for them. And it's nothing different from other tech companies that are coming out. The US market has maybe 2 to 3 of who we know, of companies that we know that is in that automation space. Okay. Give me the data, boom, we'll automate recording, we'll automate bookkeeping. We're just in a different country. We may have a different resource, we may have a different value proposition, because we just don't do the bookkeeping. It's end to end. It goes to the tax compliance space. But that's, from automating the data processing. But that's what we're sharing to our much bigger market.
Okay.
And
now,
to add that,
Jenny.
We also found out that it's not only the tech that what companies need. No, they also need the service. So when we spoke to these CPA firms, clients of ours in Juantax, and they lack the people, So initially, because Beppo was focused on the self-employed market, we said, of course, we'd want to go through the journey of being a self-employed into a full-fledged company now. So we're like asking them, so how can we make that to cater from a small business to a bigger business, And we need the support of the accountants. So and that's the reason why we ramped up to buying 5 firms, because they wanted to build a product as well and complete it as an accounting software.
That is amazing. That's how we did it. But again, buying 5 firms ain't cheap. So 2 things I want to know: how were you able to scale the clientele, and second, how were you able to raise funds from Tito Paul Santos to make this work?
In Juantax, we've tried to raise funds 30 times. I've spoken to 30 VCs, zero result.
Typically, it takes 100 daw kasi. So 70 more.
Kulang.
There you go.
Kulang pa. Kulang pa. But with Beppo, we're very lucky to speak to the right VC, to the right person. Paul, I spoke to Paul. I met Paul just one time before they made the decision.
Okay.
And, I was preparing for that meeting, and to be honest, after maybe 15 minutes of talking about, this is Juantax and how we started, and this is Beppo, blah, blah, blah. Paul took over the conversation as if it was his startup, which told me, dude, this guy gets it. He got it right away, and that made the whole process simpler. Of course, they'd ask for data, they'd ask for, more, they'd conduct their due diligence, but it was already simple because this guy knows what we're trying to do. And he has all those wild ideas as far as, hey, can we do this? Can we do that? This is how it's going to eventually lead to. And, it was a fairly smoother process than we would have imagined.
That is amazing. Again, last question before we wrap this baby up. How are you then able to scale the business, right? Just how did you acquire the users? Again, at first couple tries, it didn't work. What worked now this time?
Timing. There's there's a saying, diba, about failure. Like it's never really a failure, but a preparation for for
success.
I guess it's because now is the right time in a way. But in terms of scaling, like all those years that we've gone through these exercises, we've learned a lot, like how to scale. We've seen CPA firms in the US consolidate, and so that when they're together, they're stronger, and that's what we're trying to do now as well. Employ the best customer service experience because again, that's what we know. We can't do. Yes, there's AI, there's that, but that's probably the if maybe not AI. We may not employ AI with that, but that would probably be the last one where we will employ AI, which is customer service, customer support, because that we believe that there's that personal component there, that connection that it's going to be hard for technology to address. And then just this good, solid connection with groups, with associations that understands the value of what we're offering.
That is amazing. Again, thanks so much, guys. I know we want to talk more. I'm pretty sure this is not going to be the last time I'll have you in the pod. But again, if people want to work with you and they want to sign up, they're sold. They're not going to say it depends. They're really sold and they want to work with you because you've done this really well. Where do they go and how do they do that?
Beppo.com. That's it. Go to the website.
Oh, there.
.com. Indeed, that. And I don't think we'll change it to that. Not .com. And we, it may be expensive, but we have people there who they can chat with, set up an appointment, boom, and then we'll help them.
That is amazing. Again, thank you so much, Jenny and Marvin. But before I let you go, follow us on whatever podcast app you're listening to, or Spotify, Apple Podcast, or any type of podcast app. And if we did say some jargon, it's going to be the show notes on hustleshare.com. And again, thank you to all the premium supporters of Hustleshare. And if you want to support Hustleshare and doing content like this, please do subscribe at premium.hustleshare.com. And again, Jenny, Marvin, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ron.
All right, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.